So there's a quote that's been occupying a lot of time in my head recently. I actually shared this quote with a portion of this quote with my staff this past Tuesday. I'm going to read it to you. And it is this: if you can control a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about his action. When you determine what a man shall think, you do not have to concern yourself about what he will do. And why is this so important? Why is this occupying space in my head? This quote by Carter G. Woodson, the father of Black History, or Black History Month, which is originally, I believe it was originally Negro History Week. Ever since I read it as an educator, it's made me really think about what is it that I do or we do as teachers, as educators. We have so much power in our ability to really shape the minds of our students, and specifically students of color. The first time I heard this quote, actually, I was in high school, and I had a teacher who taught government and economics, Dr. Woodson, at Inglewood High School in California. And he shared that quote, and in my mind, it sounded more like, hypnotism. If you could get into someone's mind and control and exercise mind control, you can get them to do whatever you want them to do. But however, now as an educator, someone who's been doing this for the better part of almost 2 decades, I'm realizing that what we pour into our students, what we tell them, what we show them, how we teach them, what we teach them, literally shapes the way they move through the world. And that shaping on how they move through the world doesn't stop when they leave our classrooms. It literally stays with them throughout their lives. And that is something that worries me, because I know for a fact, without a doubt in my mind, that across this country, most of the content being taught to our students, especially Black and brown students, are part truths. When we teach U.S. history, or world history, without really doing a deeper dive into what was happening in the spaces that our children are from, we only give them one perspective. When we teach slavery and not teach the parallel timeline in the Caribbean and in Africa, then the kids only see that slavery is their heritage and nothing else beyond that. When we teach science and we only talk about Isaac Newton and Western scientists and not really do a deeper dive to what was happening in the Middle East and Africa, and really speak globally about our understanding of the world, then again, we're only giving them just one portion of the story. And why is this a bad thing? Because if you don't see the worth in who you are, in what you're being taught, then you start to believe that you're limited, that you're not fully capable of being great. Because greatness is only reflected to you from the eyes of others and their experiences and their heritages. There is so much that I learned in college and through my own research. And I'm not talking about unreliable sources. I'm talking about scholarly work, that I dived into that I was not aware of until I was in college. About, who I am as a human being, as an African, as a Black male, and the contributions that have been made by the people that I'm descended from. But this same information could have been given to me in high school. in middle school and elementary school, but it wasn't. And I'm not going to sit here and say, well, my white teachers didn't teach me. I went to Inglewood High School. The majority of my teachers were of color, but they taught me the way they were taught. But the sad part is, even after I became a teacher with what I knew, I was given a curriculum to teach, and that curriculum excluded the things that I knew, because I had to teach students in accordance with a test. So I had very little room to introduce the vast body of things that I had learned from college and graduate school, because again, the curriculum I was given was only designed to meet the expectations of the test, whether it was, an AP exam or a Regents examination here in New York State. So again, just reinforced the gaps that I experienced as a student, and now the gaps that I was teaching or perpetuating as a teacher. So now as a school leader, I'm always asking myself, how do I make sure that my students are ready to be successful in whatever test that they're given, but at the same time, they're being provided the space to do those deeper dives into who they are. History should be comparative. It shouldn't just be one side of the story. Students should be able to sit down and really unpack and really dig deeper into what they're being taught, rather than just living in that space of, DOK level 1, level 2, just regurgitation and re-explanation versus being able to analyze information. I share this with you because I know for a fact if I am spending time trying to figure out a solution to this, then I know I'm not the only one, because I know there's a lot of great teachers, regardless of race, regardless of background, gender, whatever the case may be, that are concerned with making sure that their students, as I am concerned that my students, are getting a full body of knowledge, but knowledge that allows them to think critically, to write analytically, expressing their thought process, making their thinking visible, and then of course, being able to exercise their truth, speaking, debating, making those oral arguments and expressing the results of their analysis verbally. These are the kind of students that we want to create. But it requires that us as educators, teachers, administrators are constantly thinking about what we do from a scholarly perspective. A lot of people might not like what I'm saying right now, but this is my truth. And this is the center of the work that I want to do, that I try to do. Uche Njoku, Sneaker Principal. Till next time.